I've been vegan since about 2015. I'd been vegetarian before that, didn't really fully understand why I should be vegan. Back in 2009, I started learning about it. Actually, I was trying to educate the classes I was teaching on the food system, and it ended up giving me an education that led to me realizing that I shouldn't be contributing to factory farming and eating animals at all. Why I went vegan? I started thinking about the animals. Of course, the environment and the workers mattered too, and that came in and became important. I realized I had a choice in terms of what I could eat, what I could wear, any products I was using, any kind of consumption that had to do with animals, that I didn't actually have to be participating in that system. And every time I had a choice, I was able to express my values, who I wanted to be with that choice, and decide what kind of world I wanted to contribute to. Since I've been vegan, I, of course, feel great. I'm 40 years old now, and I probably feel as good as I ever have physically, but also mentally, emotionally, I'm in a better place without even having thought about it. It wasn't my intention to feel better emotionally, it was my intention to do the right thing, and that led to me just feeling more in line with my values and the person that I wanted to be. I do think it's important for others to be vegan, or at least I hope they're making an effort towards that. I would like to think that my fellow humans are a compassionate bunch, even if we don't always exercise that compassion. But if we really want a fairer and juster world, and if we want a world at all, considering the impact that animal agriculture has, I think we're going to have to move in that direction. The most important reason for me to be vegan is that I don't want to harm others, or I want to minimize the harm in the world, and being vegan is a very clear way for me to do that. There, of course, is the direct harm to other animals. There's also the harms to the environment that are some of the most severe that we know of any industry. Of course, it isn't perfectly easy to be vegan in a world that is often, not vegan or even hostile to it, because people don't want to feel judged. People want to be able to continue doing the things that they grew up doing, that they like doing. It wasn't actually that difficult for me to switch my food choices. I did it a little gradually because I was vegetarian first, and then I realized, dairy and eggs aren't great either. In fact, they could be worse. So I already had established the things that I could eat, started figuring out the different products that were vegan. So it was a little bit of a process for me. But what was really difficult was the relationships and how other people didn't always understand, or how I didn't understand how they could still be making those decisions if they had the information. And for me, the challenge was to reconcile that in myself, to continue to have compassion for others, and to recognize that everyone is on their own journey, and that I could make it a lot less challenging and frustrating for myself if I looked back at my own past and even my own present and see where I'm not perfect, and where I still have some long way to go, or hopefully some short way. And that made it easier to overcome that challenge of the social aspects. Do I have any regrets? I think, like pretty much anyone who is vegan, my regret is that I didn't know about it earlier. I wish I would have known about it before my mid-late 20s. I didn't even know what a vegan was until I was in college, first time I heard it. And at that point, it didn't make any sense to me. I wish that I would have had the opportunity to learn about these things and make these connections earlier. That's really my regret. I know I don't have much choice in that. Otherwise, I can't say that I regret anything about it. It's been one of the best decisions of my life. In my personal life, I try not to advocate too loudly. I like to take a more subtle approach and be an example, be the kind of person that other people might want to be like. So I don't get in people's faces. I don't get mad at them for not understanding the way I see the world. I allow them that space. I allow them to come to me and ask questions. And it turns out that that's actually been really effective. A lot of my friends have gone vegan. I do then advocate professionally as well, and that's a slightly different stance. While I approach people non-judgmentally and I don't tell them what they should or shouldn't do, I do try to arm them with information and with a perspective that might help them see why being vegan is a better choice for them, for animals, for the planet, for all of the people involved in the system who are oppressed and exploited. There are a lot of ways to get started if you are interested in living a more compassionate life and being vegan. Usually it's a process. I think you should be compassionate with yourself while you're trying to be compassionate towards others. So figure out what is accomplishable for you. What can you do today? You don't have to think, I have to do everything right now, but every choice you make, you have the opportunity to be that person that you want to be and that you want to become in the future. So if you have a choice between whether you're eating a hamburger or the falafel, you can choose the falafel. If you have a choice between buying vegan shoes or leather shoes, make that choice to buy the vegan shoes. You can do it step by step. It doesn't have to be all at once because a lot of times that is pretty overwhelming for people. But if you keep doing it and you consider who you want to be with every decision and you're really mindful about it, you're probably going to be there soon. So what food do I enjoy? I pretty much love all vegan food. There's really great junk food these days, wonderful ice creams now. For me, I try to stay on the healthier side. I like eating a lot of beans, whole grains. I love potatoes, sweet potatoes, nuts, seeds. Usually I'll cook all of these things up, oftentimes in an air fryer, throw them together, makes it really easy. Okay, so some of the best resources, as an educator, I often have to point people to things. There are lots of great documentaries to check out for health. I think, Forks Over Knives is a place where a lot of people start. It's pretty accessible. In terms of online resources, Vegan Outreach has some great stuff. Their 10 Weeks to Vegan can be really helpful for people. If you want to just learn more about how it all works, I think Jonathan Safran Foer's Eating Animals is a well-written and also accessible resource. There, for conservatives, I'd recommend Dominion, written by Matthew Scully, who's a Republican presidential speechwriter. So you get a different perspective there, but still one in line with being vegan. I think at this point you can pretty much Google it or go on YouTube, and there are a lot of great people talking about it. Earthling Ed is another person I think who explains these things really well.